I was like, is he coming on to them? I know it's supposed
Like,
to be
so
a power
very
move, but
much like Lionel Baratheon, but in a very different way. He seems like he's coming on to everyone. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Vassals of Kingsgrave for another episode of our House of the Dragon Season 3 coverage. This time it's the fourth episode of Season 3 titled Tumbleton. My name is Adam, also known as drownedsnow around the internet, and I am joined by Michal.
Hello, inkasrain on places.
Kevin.
Nuncle Kevin.
Katie.
this is Katie, Seheron on the Discord.
And our Lord Baron Blackfyre, Zander.
Hail to the king, baby.
Blackfyre till the end. All right.
You're gonna have to be more specific, man.
That's right. King, queen. There's like a lot of them. Is it going to be like another War of the Five Kings? I don't know. So that just happened, and I have a lot of questions here. Let's start with lemon cakes. Or what are your impressions of the episode, Michal?
Okay, not rating as usual, but I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was like pretty effective as far as like shuffling all the pieces around. I like having Ormond as a villain. I think they are kind of painting in broad strokes with him. But James Norton's a really good actor, so he can pull that off. Like anytime you have an actor saying victory is ours, it's like, all right. But you know, I certainly some things I was not expecting. What the fuck with Sunfire? What the fuck with Darren? You know, but yeah, I mean, listen, we are continuing a pace. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Kevin, what do you think?
I'll give it 4.75 burnt shepherd's heads. I don't know. I'm a chud about this show. Like, I've only potted once, and the whole time everyone had like things that they picked up on and bad writing that they thought they found, or they did fine probably. And I'm just kind of a chud about this show. I don't know why. I don't have a lot of nerd rage, but I'm just enjoying it. I like the reshuffle. I like, honestly, the twist at the end. That could make sense. It also is something that could, given the way everything plays out, could be lost to history. And I like Ormond in the role he's in.
As like a failed sort of plot situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and that like you don't, I mean, to Ormond's knowledge, like, he doesn't know where Aemond is. He assumes Aegon is dead, so why wouldn't Daeron be the heir? You know? I don't think it's super unheard of what he's doing. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Katie, what about you?
I'll give it a 2. I thought this was a big ol' wet fart of an episode. I was kind of bored during it, honestly, and I rarely get bored with this show. Towards the end, I was like, maybe I should fast forward and just not listen to this dialogue. It's crazy because last week felt so grounded and careful in the way that it was sort of setting up pieces. And there was just a lot in this episode that was crazy town. Just Game of Thrones ass, like, who fucking cares? Like just chucking stuff on the screen that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And not even in a fun way, in an irritating way. And I think there was just like an overall, just a lack of tension that made this kind of a tedious episode. I didn't hate everything. It was just kind of dull, to be honest. It didn't have like intriguing political movements like last episode, and there was nothing terribly exciting like episode 1. Yeah, I'm very curious, like, because I heard like rattlings online that this and episode 3 were both pretty highly rated, and I was like, episode 3 was great. This was not great at all, in my opinion.
I mean, I guess there's a good bit of like Game of Thronesy intrigue, maybe. I don't know. It is interesting. What do you think, Xander?
I'll give it I'll get 3. I think, um, like for the most part, I'm pretty much a broken record on how I feel this season. Like the parts that I like, I think they did really well. The parts that I did like, I wish they could have either done without or did different. But in this episode, on a whole, I think a lot of the little bits of stuff that they did was good are really intrigued me. And specifically, again, with like Ormond Hightower, I'm loving that. Um, and yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I was confused by several things that happened in the episode. If they're gonna be going in some different direction, or if it's just some way to extend the plot. I don't know. Overall, I mean, it was fine. Um, like I thought like the stuff like the continued sheep stealers plot is probably the worst writing of the season. Nothing really going on there makes any sense. But I don't know. I'll give it like a 3.5. Like it was all right. Um, I will probably judge it differently, at the end of the season. But I did hear that, like, Katie said, like these 2 episodes were like, big episodes, and maybe the expectation was off in my head. I don't know. So the episode opens up with a bunny rabbit. I thought that was cool. Not really sure why. It was cute though.
Definitely
Paris
thought
was.
it was about to get roasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening? What is happening?
Thought we were
An
about to
arrow
see
or
that
something.
rabbit go up in smoke.
I was
I
like,
was like,
is like Tumbleton associated with rabbits, or I don't even know.
I was just like, see, Sunfire's gonna come and roast this rabbit, and we're gonna see he's alive.
That was my first thought too.
Aw.
We'll see Sunflower making his way back. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, I mean that's the first
Anyway,
scene of the season, so why not?
yeah.
You know.
But that whole sequence is very weird, and I'll have thoughts when we get there. But let's see. Yeah, the Hightower army basically just we see them rolling in and just being like, "Oh, you got to stay in this guy's house and that guy's house," and they're very clearly positioning themselves as human shields. And then we see the real Darren in the back, and there's some exquisite bathtub exposition from Ormond here. This dude's just the vibes off of him are really on point and really fucking creepy. And then he mentions that like, well, Vagar's got to arrive and everything will go to plan. What did you guys think of the way they opened this up?
I've been thinking recently about how this show actually has not had a villain, really. Like, we've had definitely characters who are like, oh, they're a baddie. But, I think, like, Aemond would come the closest, and we know too much about Aemond, in my opinion, and we've seen too much of Aemond, and we've seen too much of his vulnerability for him to be like a capital V, like the bad guy, but we have not had a Ramsay or a Joffrey, like somebody that everyone is united against. And I don't think Ormond is going to be quite like that because they have made Darren sweet enough. And I think they actually did that really well so that there's a little bit of conflict in that, like, obviously we're supposed to want Ormond out, but not at Darren's expense. But all that being said, I thought it was a little refreshing to have sort of like the moral poles of everything a little bit more clear, where it's just like, we do not have to like Ormond Hightower. We do not have to feel bad for him about anything. We can just call him the bad guy and, go from there.
But
Yeah, because like our villains have been like the crab feeder and like the what's your
Very
name, the
effective.
pirates, like the people that like
We
they
totally
show up and
remember
they're
that
gone
they
real
all
quick.
exist.
Yeah.
yeah, Lohar, and I mean,
Eamon is like the foil, but it's like you could be Team Green, right? So I don't know.
if you look at enough history, I don't know that the guys like Ormond are really the great villains in late antiquity and early modernity and stuff. Like I don't think that the people who rule like Ormond are truly the great villains of history typically.
You mean just
So
like what he did, or
I mean, like even compare that end scene of showing like, oh, they have martial law and a curfew and those things in Tumbleton versus the sort of door to door type action of the gold cloaks. Like one is
yeah,
a
they're
lot more
yeah.
orderly. Like one is a lot. I mean, I get they're both in positions, but one of them definitely felt more like someone trying to make an example and have violence in the street from the gold cloaks, whereas the high towers were trying to. I mean, I get what he does in the end, but like he is
Yeah, they're
generally trying to promote an orderly city. And in when you look at like kings of England, usually the ones that are well regarded are the ones that could be pricks, but kept order, and didn't give in
no
to
plagues and no
vice as
wars
much.
sort of thing.
Yeah, and didn't give in to like personal vice as much generally.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think necessarily what he does is wrong, but it also shows that he's more shrewd than Rhaenyra because she gets very reactive when she hears the news, and he, publicly is like, "Yep, I'm going to chastise my dude," but then comes back later and is like, "Right, but don't fuck with us," but not where anyone's going to see it, right? So,
I just want to add the actor is very attractive. I I kind of feel
Mhm.
bad for him because I feel like he probably had to shave his ass for that one shot. But otherwise, very odd character. I don't know, like I feel like I'll have more to say when we get to that final just crazy crazy
yeah, we
scene.
can save it for that.
But yeah,
Is
I do agree that they are setting him up at very much as like there's not a ton of depth to this man. I mean, there's complexity in that he has dual. I mean, he has like multiple motivations, but I don't know. Like he's not. There's not a whole lot of vulnerability with this guy, and also like I'm pretty sure he gets. I don't know how long he's gonna last. I don't know. I don't know how long Tumbleton is gonna last compared to the source material. But yeah, we'll see if he
Mm,
gets out of this season alive.
I wouldn't assume that was his own ass.
fair enough.
Great point. I didn't even think about it. You're probably
I
right.
haven't done work like that in ages. Okay.
In the grand GOT tradition.
Yeah. You don't see his face in that shot. It was probably a body double.
do y'all feel like they were somewhat trying to give him like some sort of neurodivergent vibe with the scent thing?
I mean, maybe there's that. He's just a weirdo. So in that sense, yeah, I think he's there. We're supposed to think that he's like a little OCD and like a little perverted.
Yeah, I read it as like a peccadillo that, he's obviously very fastidious in all things. Um I guess if we see I don't know, if we see them win the battle because they like drop shit on his face and he just like can't handle it, like then Allison's remarks will make a little more sense. But
No, no, that would be the Knight of Seven Kingdoms showrunners that would do that.
yeah, I'm not sure though. I I'm not totally sure if they're going anywhere with it or if it's just like a character note.
I assume he was also hitting the poppers. I think that's just apparently a theme this season.
All right.
I
Uh,
wait, right before we do move on, I will say, after he got out of the tub and Darren gave him his like robe or whatever to put on. The way he stepped like right up to Lord and Lady Footy, whatever house that is, it gave me Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia vibes.
100%. The full Dennis.
I was like, is he coming on to them? I know it's supposed
Like,
to be
so
a power
very
move, but
much like Lionel Baratheon, but in a very different way. He seems like he's coming on to everyone.
He's coming on menacingly.
While we're
It-
here, what's the aesthetic in Tumbleton? Like, I felt like
Right?
it was
I was
like,
like, where are they?
I was like, are they like, is this like Adobe? Like, are they in?
They're like, we're but merchants and from a different country.
the aesthetic is bunnies, and that's it.
It just,
it looked like cinder blocks, genuinely. Like cinder blocks with shit
Yeah.
painted on him. Very
Very
It-
weird.
yeah.
I wonder
got-
if they're wanting us to assume that because they're like, oh, we're merchants, we're traders, so like they look more like people in the free cities, kind of like their their city looks more like that. I don't know.
I mean, it's close to King's Landing, right? So it shouldn't have that much of its own
It
identity.
shouldn't. Yeah, it really shouldn't. But I guess unless they, I don't know, you could make a point in, headcanon, you could make a point that it was like maybe a settlement at one point from, someone in the free
It's
city.
just unincorporated, so the funding is different.
That's right.
They're not subject to the zoning laws of the city.
They're not in the HOA.
Okay, has anyone seen Rome?
Yes.
So that, for some reason, the scene of him like climbing out of the bathtub really reminded me of like Mark Antony does that. Anthony does that at some point. And like in Rome it's a little bit different because nobody cared about nudity, but like it did feel very like I have just done my bathing and now I stand glistening and nude in front of, but also in Rome we saw the whole situation, so it wasn't quite the same.
I mean, yeah, in the early 2000s, there was a lot of bathtub exposition.
Yeah.
Very popular in old westerns too.
I'd say Cersei has a couple like bathtub villain scenes, doesn't she?
Yeah, more than a couple. I'm trying to think of any character that's like not like on the road or whatever that doesn't have at least one, right? I mean, even Ned, isn't he like in the hot spring at one point? Like,
Yeah, Sansa even has one.
Yeah. So.
That went well.
Eh. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Our next big scene, we switch over to Rhaenyra's small council. And she's very confused and doesn't understand why they'd take Tumbleton. It's terrible. It's not a military city. Oh wait, unless they like want to make sure I don't burn them because they're my people. Like, so she can't figure it out, and then immediately like mentions the human shield aspect of it. Also tells Maester Orwell, "You've been cool. You can sit down as long as you stay cool." And then he tries to grab his balls, and she hates the balls and says, "No more balls," and suggests Lord Manderley for Maester of Coin.
So that he can take the fall.
Do y'all think that like Beesbury's blood is still on his ball?
Or did they make a new ball? I'm sure they cleaned it. Although we'll see later that they don't clean up like battlefields or dragons for months on end. So
I don't understand the balls. I'm sorry, because if there's okay, so you sit down, you put it in your little plate or whatever, and it symbolizes you're present, but everyone can see that you're there. You don't
Exactly.
it
Listen.
doesn't, like, if it was outside the room or something and like people could know who was in there, it'd make more sense actually. But I think that they just wanted like these cool, everyone's got a different color stone sort of thing.
See, I just think they're very like neurodivergent friendly, and if you need a fidget toy, then they're providing it for you.
Like, I do like how Rhaenyra's like, that's old school. We're not doing that anymore. So like that's why you didn't see it in Game of Thrones. But I think that maybe coming into this show, like the small council was going to be so important, and especially like the first season jumped through several years, and some people were in different roles, and so like maybe they thought like having these color coded balls would help people keep track of how important people are and what they do or something. I don't know. Like maybe it just didn't work out like they thought. Or they just like were like, hey, we need something for Kristen Cole to kill a dude with, instead of a sword. So we need to have balls. I'm not sure. I do would like to be like a fly on the wall whenever they had the conversation about the stones, like what that came from.
I like to think there is a good reason for it because if you watch that House That Dragon Built shit, they're very meticulous with all the scene dressing. I just cannot fathom a practical reason for it. It's just it's so silly.
Yeah, like I said, it would make more sense as like it's on the wall outside, or it's in the chambers or something, where like someone could see who's there and who's not, or there's a record kept or something with you got a bin full of balls or something. I don't know.
I wonder if it was one of
Maybe.
those like ideas that George brought, thinking like, oh, we could have this as a set dressing, and then this is kind of like a fuck you to him, with her being like a relic of another age.
Maybe George just likes various stones and minerals. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I just like to think that like when they were trying to make like Aenys the king, they were like, this guy's gonna need all the help he can get. So we'll color code everyone.
The balls could make
Honestly,
sense if they like voted anonymously with the balls, but the balls all have unique colors.
Yeah.
Aenys is probably the best explanation, or yeah, probably Aenys. Or Magar, he's like, I'll shove it up your ass if you're not doing things right. It's a threat. Like,
All right, let's move on. We have a couple of small scenes. Alicent and Rhaenyra just sort of, she's trying to get background on the High Towers in Darren. Yeah, she sort of says like he was the most high tower or something like that. Corlys is like, I'm out of here. Alan, you stay behind and make good. And then we get our first scene with Aegon and Larys trudging through the forest, and they find Sunfire's maybe dead body. This is where my questions really start, the big questions. And the first one is, how long has it been since the Battle of Rook's Rest? Because there's bodies everywhere. The dragons are not really like decomposed. Like Melee's is a little bit, but Sunfire is not really decomposing. So hopefully he's alive. I don't know. It can't just be a week or two later, because Aegon has to have time to go back, get some healing, escape, all that. Like it would take weeks for him with the burns he had to like even be up and walking. So I mean, I assumed it'd been like a month or two.
Yeah, this whole thing seems very ill-considered. The fact that there are people still looting corpses out in the field, I don't know. Like, it seems like it's been so long that there just wouldn't be anything to pick over. And I don't think Sunfire is dead, just because they've made a point that, like, Aegon's like, he's alive, I can feel it. But also, like, there's no flies around him the way there is around Melee's corpse. It just seems like he's in a
Yeah.
state of hibernation or something.
And he just needed True Love's kiss to bring him back to life.
I guess it's just so dumb. Like, I don't know why they did it this way. It kind of just flies in the face of all logic. Like, like the dragon is either dead or it's not. Like, if it was asleep, I don't know. Someone touch it. Can you feel its heartbeat? There, the mystery has been
Is it
solved.
warm? Yeah, if it's well, you're literally, people are paying to touch it, so you can't say no one's going near it. But like,
Yeah, it's been long enough for them to set up a commercial enterprise with various levels of patronage. So
right, it none of this makes any sense, and either we're drastically wrong on the timeline from Rook's Rest to here, and it's hardly been any time, or like the fucking doctor's there and time stopped. Like, I don't know.
And if these people are hungry, you cannot tell me that nobody is chopping pieces off that dragon.
Right?
Unless there's like a guard set up around it. Like, no, like
Dragon meat will spoil. You better eat it now.
Just one dragon keeper screaming at everyone in High Valyrian.
Does dragon meat cook itself?
Microwavable.
I don't know, but they need the heartstrings for wands.
That's right. There's so much magic here. I don't understand it. But this is the thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Is like neither side has tried to clean up the dragons or even like verify that Sunfire's dead.
Well,
Like
so Chris,
bringing the head
Kristen
back to.
Cole, Kristen Cole. I mean, they made a point that he said Sunfire was long in the dying
Yes.
to Arthur last
Yes,
season.
Sunfire
So
doesn't die right away in the books.
yeah,
Well, we need
that's why
Sunfire for
that's why
one
we're all
very
mad. Hannah.
specific.
Yeah, like you. That's like the one thing I'm like, no, they're not going to change that.
He yet has one meal to
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a
It's a
dinner
very
date.
important last meal. It's not his last meal, but it's a last meal.
Yeah, and you know what? If fucking Bela ends this story as a dragon rider, I will be
Oh,
pissed.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I'm so tired of her
Don't
getting
get me
all this extra
started.
crap.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh.
This is the kind of thing that I find just incredibly frustrating because sometimes the show is very careful and very like cognizant of ripple effects. This is the sort of thing that just feels like sloppy. It's like
Yeah.
who
Mhm.
was not like what two writers were not talking to each other, and then they're like, oh fuck, we've contradicted like our own plot. Who cares? And just it's
Did they
sleeping.
shoot all of this back like last season or something? And like, I don't know.
they have
Adam,
contradicted the one line from the show that's in Game of Thrones.
Right? That's why I'm like, he can't be dead. But it's weird to me that they're gonna let us instead of like him, hobbling around somewhere, they're gonna let us think like, oh, he just kind of slept, and people paid to see him, and no one cared about the dragon, and then like Aegon is gonna like bring
Is
him back
Alice
to
Rivers
life.
gonna bring him back?
Oh, I think he's just gonna wake up. I think he just realized his homeboy's still around, and he's like, time to get up. You know. I was half expecting it to happen when he's like, confronting the dude at Rook's Rest later. So I don't know.
to what end, though? I
Um,
mean, like, with one wing?
Well, but I mean, a dragon showing up and shows that it's alive, and then breathes some fire, and then we're like, oh, so now they're both sort of hobbling their way towards Dragonstone, right?
yeah. If they don't play Martina McBride's with a broken wing,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
um,
Right now, the track is still Sarah McLaughlin. So
When you said they made no effort to clean it up, my brain immediately went to when those whales washed up in LA and they decided to shove them with TNT and blow them up. Do you
that's
remember
the
that?
easiest way.
And it's just raining chunks of fucking rotting whale everywhere. Um, so thanks for that image.
But I mean, like they
um,
don't want like I assume in a time of peace, like dead dragons are not just left where they lie for people. Like they like because it's a respected symbol of the monarchy, so you can't just like let people come up close and see these dragons, right? They might start thinking like, oh, they're not as mean as
Well,
they look.
and Sunfire's scales are so badass looking. It's like you can't tell me that people aren't like trying to skin them for jewelry and shit.
Oh, right. Some
You
Hmm.
might
dragon
not be able to
scale.
get
mhm.
away with that in the Seven Kingdoms, but you probably could get away with it across the Narrow Sea, or even in Dorne at this time.
Sunfire is like one of the best looking dragons.
Some say the most beautiful dragon that there ever was.
Or like making mail out of it. Like I think there's a lot of uses. So I do have a hard time believing that the bodies are just there untouched without anyone
Yeah.
guarding them.
So, um, you mentioned a couple scenes together here before we got to Dead Sunfire,
Yeah, yeah.
and you mentioned Rhaenyra and Alicent talking. And can I just say, am I the only one that's done with those two talking? Like, where else do they have to
Right?
go at this point? Like, I'm
100% you
just
are not.
like, what? I don't know.
It's like
Like
just kiss already.
the younger actresses, I thought were better displaying them portraying them anyways. Like, I don't know. I'm just over that relationship, I guess they're still going for this thing of like, oh, these two best friends accidentally started a war or something, but that's not really what happened or what the show's
They're gonna
portrayed.
like
And
bring him back before the end. Like I don't know.
Kevin, I'm with you
yeah.
so hard. I'm really done with it. And if anyone needs to be talking to anyone else more, it's Ulf and Rhaenyra, because that was gold.
I disagree. I think that they're kind of the heart of the show, and if anything, I'm like, why aren't they talking more? Like, we have them back in the same place, you know? I think that the younger actresses had more variety to play with for sure, because they were able to actually, show the development from, friendship to enmity, and Alicent and Rhaenyra as adults are just kind of like, ah! But I think that they both carry the weight of what they've been through, like, very prominently. And yeah, I mean, I agree. It is. I think what the part of the issue is that, we don't exactly know where this is going, because Alicent kind of just poofs after this point in the book, right? So it's a little bit of the Daemon problem, where she's a main character, she has to be here, but we need to give her something to do. So I'm sympathetic to that, but I don't know. I like seeing them talk to each other. I think that's the most sympathetic I feel to Rhaenyra, honestly. Like that's where I feel like her internal conflict the most. Like when she says, like, I would have spared him about Darren, and obviously the implication is that she no longer intends to spare any of Alicent's children except maybe Helena. It's tough, it's a dark moment, and yeah.
I see what you mean. I guess for me, if I thought it was going to do any good, like they could end the damn war, then maybe I would be a little less like fatigued by it. But since I do know that it's not going to help, I guess for me, it's like, let's move on.
And right now it's pretty much just them exchanging information, her trying to get information, and I don't know if it's really going to help. I think what people are wanting is them to have like that deeper conversation at some point, where maybe they kind of get back to being sort of okay with each other and like, oh, haha, like laugh about everything, which would be kind of weird anyway. But like, if you're going to get there, you have to have all these like boring scenes where they don't really talk about anything like that. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm not bored with their interactions at all. I'm kind of on Michal's side with it, but I do think there is kind of a structural problem in that Alicent's story arc resolved itself last season. Like, her emotional through line is that, like, she decides that she was wrong, and she decided to turn on her family and side with Rhaenyra, and it's like, well, there goes her conflict. And also, she didn't seem to care about Otto getting his head chopped off, which I thought would be like a wedge that would invent some conflict for them going forward. So now it's just Alicent in a place of resignation with, like, occasional, like, she was a little impatient and annoyed last episode, but for the most part, she has nothing to leverage against Rhaenyra, and so their conversations, like you said, Adam, are just like exchanges of information with nothing like flinty to create tension.
Yeah, did it almost seem like Rhaenyra cared more about Otto than Alicent did when she was saying like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make sure his body's brought back to Old Town because it's what my dad would have wanted." And Alicent, maybe she's just kind of in shock from everything, or been in like fight or flight for like months on end now with the war. Like I don't know, it seemed more like Rhaenyra was like being soft there. Alicent was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Her dad did kind of use and abuse her. I mean, she was like groomed to, attend these old men at his behest. So I don't know, like, how much real
Yeah.
love he would display. If anything, I think it would be more freeing to have him gone. Not that the like indignity to her house doesn't stand, but I don't know how much like emotion she would have about it anyway.
Yeah, and I
Is
would say
she
even after everything Otto did, like she still basically followed through with his wishes. Except then the show makes it where like she was like gonna accept Rhaenyra until Viserys' dying breath, and sort of takes that away too. So
even in her convincing of Aegon, she seems to have accepted the reality of like what they've done, the consequences of losing is death. I think she's kind of has the maturity to realize and has accepted that for herself and for her children, and that
Mm.
flee, her only chance is to look for opportunities to flee.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those are the terms she's been playing under the whole time. Like the scene that really keeps like sticking in my mind is when um it's still the younger actresses, but she's like it's like Allison's worst day. It's I think Damon's come home, like he and Viserys make fun of her, and then like Otto gets I could be misremembering the sequence of events, but like Otto gets sent away and he like basically yells at her like it's your kids or it's Rhaenyra. Like that is the situation. And I think that like that is what they are I don't know. I think that's what she's been functioning under this whole time. And obviously like I mean, she's done many bad things and made many terrible decisions in pursuit of that. But more specifically with this, I thought kind of that was what they were trying to do with the ring. I felt like, like giving Rhaenyra giving Otto's ring back to Alicent and Alicent kind of trying to pass it on to me sort of felt like I don't necessarily need this reminder of this person, like I like she did what she kind of had to as a loyal daughter and like had him sent home, and that was kind of she really doesn't have any. I mean, I have a lot of issues still with the specifics of the execution scene, but like, I mean, Otto's life is forfeit 1,000 times over. Like,
Yeah. I did appreciate though the choice to have Rhaenyra refer to him as Viserys and not my father. Like I felt like that was more humble and more approaching her at like an even footing than saying like, well, he was my father and like nothing to you kind of. I don't know if that
Oh, I
was
disagree.
intentional, but that's how I read it.
Oh, I took that as being much more cold. I took that as like if members of the royal family, when they're talking about like past monarchs, use their names, but in private, King Charles is going to call Elizabeth mummy, right? When he's talking to other family members about her, but he's going to either say like my mother or, my or Queen Elizabeth in like a speech. I felt it was more that energy that she called him Viserys.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, it's tough because you're not usually referring to the spouse of the of your childhood
Of you,
friend when
right?
you're also talking about your father.
Your father, right? Call things weird things. It's
Well,
like,
and a
the
king,
Targaryens are probably used to it though, because they have to figure out how they're related to each other, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I need to find my list of the 12 familial relations that Aegon and Viserys have with Bela and Rhaena.
Oh no.
Okay,
Yeah.
on that note, let's move
They're the
forward.
most related Targaryens.
Okay. Let's see. Let's just go through. We'll do there's a couple scenes here. We'll just do real quick. So we just get Kristen Cole and Gawain arriving at Harrenhal and being told like, oh, Aemon left and he's out burning the countryside. I guess he didn't have to recover for very long, maybe. And then Rhaenyra finds the Lego City, which is like buried in I don't know if it's the attic or whatever, wherever they have storage for the king. And yeah, what's his name? Corlys is like, peace out. The rats have decided Lego City's their new home. And then we went back to Rook's Rest after this, and then we kind of got the introduction of Aegon and Larys to the people who are currently, ruling there, I guess. So what did you guys think about these?
I miss Kristen Cole. I'm sorry I did.
I've been missing him. I feel like he's been gone for 2 seasons.
Yes.
Like I've husk of a person.
He's had
Like,
nothing to do this season at all. He's like barely. He's had like maybe tops 2 minutes of screen time.
what is it that like PTSD X or whatever that people say that Reek had, that like it was so bad he could never get anywhere near being himself again. That's how I feel every time Kristen Cole's on the screen. I'm like, where did the character go?
He's like, look, we've seen him this season very little. Like we probably saw what's his face more in The Mandalorian than we've seen, FaceTime with him this season. So
I literally took Wayne Hightower's side over him. I was like,
right.
you're so not dynamic right now, Kristen. Like you thought your speech about like this is the opposite of like Davos or Jorah Mormont giving those kinds of speeches about the small folk where you're like, all right, I'm on board.
Well, like he kind of looks dopey when he's wearing his helmet, and then the way they run in there, like a scene, like from a movie where like the idiots run in and then find nothing.
I mean, that is what's happening. Like,
But the
Alice is
lens,
not
like the way it was
telling the
shot.
truth. Like,
Yeah.
Aemond is almost certainly still there, somewhere secreted away in some room. Harrenhal is legendarily big, easy to hide
Maybe,
someone.
but then they said Aemon's off burning places, right?
No, I think they just said that they don't know where Vagar is. So
Isn't that what they were saying at Rook's Rest, that like Aemon had been burning villages?
I think that's just the dragon.
No, but he. Oh, you think it's just?
I think he is still ensconced in Alice's web, having some kind of adventure psychologically.
He's getting his dark magic dialysis.
Exactly.
Interesting. So like Vagar just kind of is running roughshod. Like why?
I think so. Well, here's the thing:
They don't usually do that.
If he has recovered after they made that whole big deal over him collapsing in front of her with a kidney wound,
Right.
then I will call that maybe the worst writing choice that they have made in the show.
Well, especially since it's only been a couple of days since Rook's Rest.
I just don't understand why she wouldn't tell them. I mean, I agree. I do think he's still at Harrenhal, like squirreled away somewhere. It feels like a plot that like is very thin, so they need to protract it over many episodes. They're like, well, how can we stall the inevitable? Well, she's just gonna lie and say
She'll
he's
hold him
gone.
hostage.
Right. It's the thing that drives me crazy. Okay, Alice, she drives me crazy in general because I just do not understand the character. But it's like, I would rather them put all these characters in the same fucking room together. Like, stop playing
Right.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Have them talk to each other.
Maybe they want us to think she's like Robert Stronging him.
I hope not. That's my dread, is like that we'll find out he's actually dead, and she's like, I can resurrect him with...
Oh, shit. Didn't think of that.
With my stupid mystical magic or whatever the bullshit she has.
Huh. That would be terrible.
It would be terrible, which is why I'm afraid they're going to do it.
Oh, and also he has 2 eyes now.
That's right. But one of them looks like one of those weird stones from the table.
It's probably more she just get in trouble for like get blamed for stabbing him, so she just pretends he's not there.
They could have some sort of like way to put in like he's having dragon dreams or something, and then that's why Vagar's off, sort of being helpful.
I think she's just doing something with him. I also think that I have almost endless issues with Alice as a character, but I do think that they have at least set up that she has motivations of her own for Harrenhal. Yeah, for Harrenhal and the surrounding area. So I think that her tipping her hand and saying that, like, yeah, hey, I have him here. Oh no, you don't want to just go away, and like her dropping the whole like, oh, Rhaenyra took King's Landing, which, by the way, how does she know that?
Oh, you don't know?
Yeah. But so I'm saying, like, I felt like that was like and you're just going to leave now. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Yeah. You better run.
I don't know why we're debating this. I think it's very clear what happened. That Aemond is about to get warged through time by Bloodraven and
He's
conquer the
down at the
Seven
bottom of the
Kingdoms.
God's Eye talking to the merfolk.
That's right. He's like, we have to get this one out of here.
I do
So-
think he's fucked for the rest of the season because they can't have him go anywhere. Like, he's basically on standby until Daemon flies out to kill him.
Yes.
In
But
the
I mean,
books, though, isn't there?
No, yeah, because in the books he's out like terrorizing the Riverlands, and Damon's like, meet me at Harrenhal.
Yeah, but
Right?
that's all he does is he flies around burninating everything
Yeah,
to draw Daemon out, but like that's not a storyline you can stretch over two seasons, excuse me.
But isn't there also a whole thing with him going to Pike and rousting the
No.
river or the Ironman?
We kind of forgot about the Iron Islands,
That's what
which is
Corlys does
honestly
when
fine
he
with me.
betrays. Okay, I got it. Now I'm all caught up.
they're in a downturn right now. It's a bad time for them economically, so they don't need to be in the story.
It's Corlys that does that, though, right? Because he betrays Rhaenyra because he's pissed.
Yeah,
So he goes and gets the Ironman.
yeah.
I thought the Iron Man just showed up because
They were just there. I thought, yeah.
chaos. Let's reeve, baby. It's reaving time.
We heard you
well,
like
next
some
time I like
Reven.
them too.
Okay,
I'm
let's move
rereading the
on.
book right now, but I haven't gotten that far. So
Report back next week.
okay.
That's right.
Dalton Greyjoy, right? Isn't that the one right now?
I'm right at the Maylee's just died and Visenya just died where I'm at in the book. I started rereading it after last week's episode. So
All right. So next, let's see. Oh, we get the Hightower soldier just deciding to be real rapey, and I'm like, why are we just doing this? And pleasantly, I was surprised because I thought they were just going to show a bunch of Hightowers doing this, and that was going to be the whole thing. But instead, the brother of the girl being assaulted fights back, and then, that's a couple scenes later. But then, he sort of punishes him. I did have a question there. Is guest right? Like, the guests are not supposed to kill the host, I guess, but that wouldn't be guest right. Like, being a good guest is not the same thing as the host not
Well,
killing
I
you.
think that's kind of you would just assume you wouldn't kill somebody you invited into your house, right?
Well, no, I know all that. Like,
That goes
obviously,
both ways.
like, yeah, but like as a guest in someone's house, like for them is like whenever we've heard guest right, it's always like a host betraying their guests. So like when they talk
maybe
about guest
Ormond
right,
is
does it go
thinking.
both ways?
Yeah,
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
Ormond's thinking
Boris
it's really
Baratheon makes a big deal of that.
it's like the soldier's house right now, and they're just a guest in their own home.
I
they're
I
in
mean,
there.
really
maybe
think
that.
he
I don't know. Yeah.
I think he just used that term as like a person of the faith, even though I guess that's a Northman thing, whatever. But to like corral, I don't know,
Because
sympathy
it's like a
or
heavy term to throw in there.
something. Yeah, exactly.
Or
But I
maybe
mean,
it's that the writers didn't think about it as hard as we have.
No, I know. I'm saying they may just be putting it in there because like people know guest right is this big sacred thing in the Seven Kingdoms. So then it makes sense why he's like really got to severely punish his own man, right?
Yeah, but Xander, you're probably
there,
right. It's like he's probably just invoking words of the faith, and kind of lording it over people in that regard.
guys,
Is
I
a
love y'all,
logical.
but this is an insane nitpick. I've always taken guest right to mean all directions. That once someone is a guest in a home,
Same.
that we're not doing violence any direction.
I know. I'm just saying we've never heard of like someone going the other way and it being this
Yeah.
like sin against the gods or whatever. So I don't know.
I mean, I think there's definitely those elements. I think there's people like Boris Baratheon who's like not going to let guests kill each other, right? He said that, but once you're out from under my roof, guest right is over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
Yeah,
think
fair
there's
enough.
definitely that element. This is why I'm a Third Amendment activist.
I was gonna say, I was very much thinking of the Constitution.
Same.
Mm. Speaking of the Constitution, is Queen of Bastards, is that going to be the show's version of Magor with teats?
I just want to know why they put a little peacock logo beside it, like an NBC logo.
The drawing, the font was weird, right?
It's
That was
actually it's the
die.
Olympics.
NBC.
They can't even afford bread, but they can afford red and green paint. I honestly was like, is it meant to be a slur or a term of endearment? Like she's the queen of us bastards.
Yeah, slay.
You know?
Oh
Like
my
it could
gosh.
go both ways.
Like, I thought it was a little shocking that Ulf was
I
just
think she
walking
kind
down to
of,
the tavern, but
I think she kind of famously has gone both ways.
Yeah, well that's true. But in real life though, if she had embraced it rather than carelessly, like she didn't really clarify those orders to her white cloak, whoever the hell that is, Sir Soren, I guess. And he's just like, yeah, go
Oh
fuck
yes,
them all
Sir
up.
Soren.
You know, it's like maybe I want to be a little more clear. It's like whenever you're talking to a white cloak or a gold cloak, think of it like making a wish on a monkey fist, where you have to be very clear in your language, or you'll get exactly what you asked for.
The thing is, I don't think Rhaenyra wanted like innocent people brutalized when she did that, but I also don't think she cared that much. Like I think one of the dynamics that they might be setting up a little bit is that like Rhaenyra has basically no interaction with the small folk, right? As much as she is like doing the noblesse oblige with like giving out food and all that stuff, and like her heart is often in the right place. However, they're kind of contrasting her with Aegon, who is now kind of Prince of the Paupering it up among, like literally among the small folk, among the worst of the worst, having that direct experience, kind of like his eventual descendant.
Yeah.
Not his descendant.
Well, that is true. You're
Sorry.
right. Whatever.
Sorry. I'll leave.
Relation descendant,
Same thing in there.
um
yeah, and actually, guys, we don't know. There's some stuff later.
But you're right,
oh,
though,
okay.
Mahmoud. It goes back to, I think, what you guys were saying on the pod last week of like this show does a good job of highlighting the small folk and then also demonstrating just how out of elites are, and that mirrors our own real world, and that part of the show is great. But yeah, she's pretty careless with that order.
And I mean,
And that,
it's worth saying like that. I mean, I've always felt, even from the book in Fire and Blood, that like it was actually a major weakness of the story that Aegon wasn't a better character, because if like Rhaenyra's claim is so ironclad, in my opinion and many people's opinions, that like the only counter to that is like, yeah, but Aegon would be a really good king. So I kind of feel like
Yeah.
they might be trying to do that.
and you know what? I wouldn't mind that because I, I, I think that would make Aegon a much better character. But like, I have such a soft spot for this actor playing him. I'm like, I think I like him when I never would have considered liking him. But it would make sense too because then it would give the Blackfyre Rebellion some historic credentials because it'd be like, well, you see, Aegon was the rightful one. They just took it from him. Same way with Darren or Damon. Um, but I do also want to say with Rhaenyra and like not caring about small folk, they also show she is just so exacerbated and exhausted over um, everybody's demands, everybody's needing things from her, all these like things she has to fix.
But they have set up that she cares quite a bit about the small folks, like their opinion. Like she's like, I gotta win the small folk all the time. Like, and they've set up in like
Right.
the past couple seasons where like when there's like a moral dilemma sort of thing, like she tries to err on the side of like not going to war, not murdering somebody, doing less harm. Um, I don't know. And now that like they have to show kind of the opposite of that, in some way, but like
Well,
maybe not make the slide too harsh.
and I think they're kind of just showing it in she's so impatient with every single thing. Like anytime somebody talks to her, she doesn't have the time. Anytime, she doesn't have the time to wait and figure out a solution. She needs a solution.
And she's setting herself up poorly, and I don't know if this is necessarily her fault or they've got staffing issues, they've got rat issues, they've got gold issues, but it's like she needs like there's hardly anyone around her. Like there's always like the one Kingsguard, whoever the fuck that is that we see, and then like she's trying to like assume control and power over all this the bits of the kingdom, and it's like she needs multiple people who are familiar with the Red Keep, familiar with what's going on, like near her at all times. Um, and like half the time we see her, and it seems like she's just not involved. Like no one's around, nothing's happening. She's just going room to room. Keeps going back to Allison asking questions. Like, all right, do we want to move to the best part of this episode, where we get to visit the Vale again? Which actually I always do like coming to the Vale, just the scenery. But Damon basically is like, y'all are not doing what you should be doing, and he gets some gold, and he's trying to cash in because they're broke. And then somehow, like, Caraxes is real upset when he's trying to get that gold back, and just completely doesn't follow anything Damon says, and follows the trail right to the plot cave, um, where I don't know if there's like a LoJack on Sheep still or what the fuck is going on. But that was a really interesting way to do that. And then it looks like Raina's aged like 20 years. Like she is not looking good. I don't know how long it's been. She got the dragon, but she's not eating. And when he asked how, she said, "Well, I fed him sheep." And I'm like, "You literally gave him one sheep, and he was like, 'You can ride.'" Um, yeah. And then she flies off, maybe for for good. Probably not for the story, but at this point, she's not involved in the war. She's not expected to serve or help or do anything. She could just leave.
Oh, there's always that whole thing of where do you go with the dragon that the first Reyna ran
Well,
into with
where did
Dreamfire.
Nettles go?
She hung out in the woods
I don't
of
know.
the
I mean, like
Vale.
she just disappears from the story, and I don't know. She seemed to do okay.
Burning them burned, man.
Very strange scene. I didn't hate it too much. Um, I think the craziest part of it is Damon being like, "No, leave the dragon and come back with me." I was like, "Bullshit." He would never say that.
It's like I need
He'd
this
be
dragon.
he'd be like, "Absolutely, let's figure this out. That's a whole other nuke we can take back." Um, it's probably the most emotion we've gotten out of Matt Smith in a long time. Uh, but yeah, I don't even fucking know where this plot is going. I
I,
assume I assume it's going to implode and Massaria is going to spill the beans to Rhaenyra and she's going to get pissed, and that's why Daemon's going to leave again. Um, but it's always cool to see like the dragons like interacting. It was very funny to see Daemon putting his money bags in the saddle and then like almost falling on his ass when the dragon takes off. There's just a lot of like little human touches to the scene that I found more affecting than 90% of whatever else was happening in this episode. I didn't hate it. I've made my peace with the Reyna stuff enough that I'm like, oh look, like we have two actors on the screen and they're actually like displaying dismay and kind of regret and human emotions. I can't complain about this too much. And also, like, Sheep Stealer and Caraxes both look amazing.
Yeah, and like even they do, and even when she says like I was the least of your children, like he doesn't correct it. He's not. I don't know. He clearly feels bad. Um,
I almost thought he felt too bad, to be honest. I felt like he was slightly out of character. Like,
yeah, right.
yeah, I almost expected him to like. I don't know.
He
Like,
does. He's like both too in character and too out of character here because like the solution to this is really simple. Like she thinks it's the end of the world, and he's like, "No, no, come on, whatever, we'll explain this." And she's like, "No, that can't be." So the solution is very simple. Like he already said, like, "Hey, we can explain this." He flies back and explains, and maybe like says, like, "Hey, she was trying to help. It was an accident," and that probably smooths everything over
I
eventually.
don't know though. I feel like Reina might have a slightly better handle on that. I do not think Rhaenyra is in. I mean, given how I'm still not convinced that Bela was real when she saw her in the last episode. But given that interaction,
But also, I mean, it almost seems like Rhaenyra thinks that like Sheep Stealer showed up and like essentially killed Jace, which is not really what happened. Like the whole interaction was fairly minor. It was enough to kind of distract him, and then he gets got, right. But it wasn't like, I don't know, putting all the blame on this whole thing is just kind of weird to me. And like going and just getting some random dude's head and delivering it is
it
not
wasn't
gonna
some
work. But
random
it's a
dude. It
very
was a
Damon thing to do.
poor fucking goat farmer who was innocently.
He was so Valerian.
Oh my god,
That part is the crazy part where it's such a bad lie, as if she wouldn't ask
Yes.
questions. Like, only Targaryens and dragon seeds are able to ride dragons, so of course she's gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this? Who is this cousin that I've never heard of?"
In
I
the, in the
think
book, when they do the dragon seeds thing, do they try to send people to the cannibal and to sheep stealer?
yes, people. I mean, they don't send them, but they basically put out the
Like
word that
people
if you,
try it.
Not
yeah,
not
and it does
really
not
though
go
with
well.
a cannibal, I don't think.
Well, cannibal,
It,
just anyone got near him, like so. Like the implication that he's making here, like, oh my gosh, wild dragons are the worst. Like, aren't they all kind of wild when they don't have a rider, or it's like they were never tamed? So, like, I don't know. In the book, it doesn't seem like they don't give a shit if there's a wild dragon. Like, great, another dragon.
yeah,
I forgot about Cannibal.
Yeah, there's three of them.
Yeah,
It's
cannibal doesn't
cannibal,
exist.
sheep stealer, and whatever the hell fire. Yeah, Grey
Oh
Ghost.
yeah,
Yeah,
Grey Ghost.
that's right, Grey
Yeah.
Ghost.
Gray Ghost. Gray Ghost. Um,
I literally just read it.
well, in the books, the Dragonmont doesn't really feel like a dragon
It's open
dungeon the
air.
way that it is in the show.
Yeah,
Like it, the dra-
They're sort of allowed to come and go as they please. It was my understanding.
like honestly, yeah, like honestly, that spot in the Vale they went to felt more like the Dragonmont, at least my
Well, we see it in
headcanon
Game of
version of it,
Thrones too.
than what they've shown in the show. But I also understand it's kind of hard to be like, well,
going back to what Mahal was saying about like the lie, it's like just why tell it? He didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, he
It's
could have
just
been
like
like, still
that's
didn't
so
find him.
bizarre to me. Let's
Yeah,
just
that's
say I
that's a
didn't
fair
see
point.
anything.
well, I think he's trying
Blackfyre.
to take the heat off Raina, right? Like he's trying
Right, but
to.
if her plan is I'm gonna fly far away forever and no one will see me again, what does that matter either way?
It
I
was
just,
ill considered. I just think on an emotional level, I mean, I was okay on the scene. I already said that, but like I do think it would have hit harder if we had ever seen these two characters interact prior to this. I think that's actually like a deeper problem is that
Like they
like
cut
the
out the hugging. Yeah, they cut out that whole scene where he's like hugging them.
They
yeah,
did
like
in
I mean they
season
do
one.
have a
It's
little
been a
bit in
long
season
time.
1 of Damon interacting with his daughters, but like yeah, they totally cut out the scene of him like comforting them when their mom was dying and giving him a hug. So there's no sense of even what Raina means to Damon. Like and so like it does feel like I mean Matt Smith is really trying in the scene. It's like I feel like he's making up for like 2 seasons of nothing. Um But yeah, like it was good, but like there's no foundation for this relationship really. Like this is the first time these two have like spoken ever.
Yeah, like the only thing that's well established is what she said is like I was your worst daughter. Like you know, you kind of ignored me.
Yeah.
That's about it.
This does piss me off, and it's like the classic TV thing of like, just say the goddamn words, say the real truth, and stop it with all this drama. Like, I get it's a drama, but we don't need excessive drama. If she had just been like, I flew in to help, and homeboy wouldn't fucking listen to me, and then he was like, oh, right, because Caraxes didn't listen to me just now. We can explain that.
Yeah,
The
well, I
fuck?
thought at the end of that episode she was just going to go back to Dragonstone, and then like she would land and see her sister, and then be like, "Oh my gosh!" and like that'd be the end of it. Um, but that did not happen.
I think we're leaving out the most important part of this whole sequence, which is that
Salukis.
Jane Eyre has a
Yeah, they're
doggo.
gorgeous.
Two
And
of them.
he's a very good boy.
And she's
Yes,
fucking got
so just for
drip
that,
for
honest to Christ. Like,
days.
He really does.
that actress was killing it.
Like, I just have to wonder, like, was John Aaron full of the drip, or did he just like wear like sackcloth and shit? Like,
Well, fucking their version of Robin Aaron sure as hell was.
yeah,
That last scene, when he makes his reappearance after his glow up, he's very well dressed.
She was great, though.
all right, where are we? So Lord Hightower gets a Raven and basically learns that his plan is fucked because Vagar's not coming. And then he shows us how much he hates the table and his own sword, apparently. But we start seeing him have like a really really showing the cracks. And then let's see, Ulf comes to ask some favors from Rhaenyra, and she's like, "Sure." And he's like, "Hey, can you pardon my buddy Jim for his public drunkenness?" And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's asking for favors for his drinking buddies. And she's like, "No, you can't be out there drinking. Like, what if somebody killed you? Then we're down a dragon." And basically tells him he's a prisoner. But he shouldn't have really been allowed to leave like that anyway. It's kind of weird. Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, hey, they're writing your name everywhere and saying nasty stuff about you around town. They think you're a bastard, or your kids were bastards." And it really sets her off. Ulf's kind of like, I don't know if he knows what he's doing or he thinks he's like trying to ingratiate himself by passing this information on to her like that. Get in her head.
No, he's trying to make a power move in my opinion. He's like, "Oh, you think you own me? Well, I know this stuff that you don't know, and it's pretty damn important."
So, first of all, I really like how it was super subtle, but I loved it. Darren telling the cupbearer to leave because he can read Ormond so well.
He told everyone to leave. He's like, "Everyone get out."
Like, just from his breathing almost, because he doesn't react much. And Darren is like so in tune with it, being his ward. It was very subtle, and it does sort of then make sense later. Yeah, with the control factor over him later. Um, and then second of all, that exchange between Ulf and Rhaenyra is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in any one of these 3 series. It was the comedic relief I didn't know I needed. She's like, "Speak them." I loved it. I love the way it was acted and written, and I don't know if they intended it to be that funny, but it's
He's like, Sir Ulf is still without."
yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
It's crazy to think that her telling him that he can't go to the tavern is probably the thing that's going to push him over the edge.
And it's like, actually, he's not that bad of a bloke. He just wants to help out his buddies and drink.
He's like, "What's coming?"
Hugh, what happened to you? Oh, well, I was
gosh.
actually
Oh,
forced
boy.
to burn my own wife alive in Tumbleton. Ulf. Well, she wouldn't give me a castle.
That
And
bitch.
she wouldn't let me go to the tavern.
But going back to Hightower's like, moment he had there. Like I got a weird read on it because it seems like when you combine it with the scene later, um, like Darren is so reactive, like tells the kid who kind of is like about his same age to get away. Like maybe more so because he knows, like he's been like the victim of some sort of abuse from him. Hopefully, not anything crazy, I guess. But like maybe with the dragon around and stuff, or if people are around, he can't target him, so he just targets some other nearby kid. I mean, I don't know.
I would not have. I sort of assumed. First of all, I thought that tantrum was going to go on longer. Second of all, I did kind of think that if that kid had been in the room, that sword might have gone that way.
I like how he didn't really do much damage to the table. It sort of shows his own impotence in a way.
Big ass table.
And then he gets so enraged that to me it was like, guess the Targaryens aren't the only ones that have madness, or like, are you sure you're not part Targ? Because damn, he came unhinged real good over basically nothing.
Over just not getting the news he wanted.
Yeah, it's like coming out unhinged over somebody's tweet. It's like it's not even substantiated at this point.
Well, when you're rich
I
enough, everything
suppose.
is your crash room.
Bizarre.
I think it's also worth noting that Darren keeps calling Ormond sire, which is
Yeah.
the wrong term.
Thank you.
Unless
Okay. I thought I was taking crazy pills.
Well, did you pick up what they said later? What Rhaenyra and Alicent were saying later?
a fatherly relationship. That Ormond had a fatherly relationship to Darren.
Well, I was talking about the way that Ormond was basically just running Old Town like its own private kingdom, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he was talking about him and Otto's correspondence or something.
But nobody else does. Like Roxton does not. He says my lord, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody talking to their own sire says sire in this universe.
Is it because
really?
Not well, except Egg.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's because he's his
But
his
now
ward,
I'm actually wondering. Like, it was really pissing me off actually, because
or
this
his
is one of the things that pisses
page.
me off in shows, and House of the Dragon is usually pretty good about this. Lords are lords and all that, but now I do kind of wonder if like the psychological fuckery of Ormond Hightower has like if this is what he has like been going for, like it makes me go back to the time in the first episode where it was like, oh wait, so is Aemon king? Is Aegon dead? And he was just like, no. One king's as good as another. And I'm like, I think his plan may always have been to get
his plan hasn't
Aaron on the
changed.
throne. And and as part of that, asserting psychological dominance over Darren to the degree that he uses
Right, because then he's going to be the hand and
and
play the string.
Right, and he's calling him sire, which I think I don't know, but maybe we're meant to interpret as like, oh, he's just calling him dad, not king, just dad.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
No, I think it's like either that or it's something real weird and kinky, man. That's I don't know.
I mean, the kink did occur to me, but
that's what I'm hoping not. Like, we're not gonna we don't need Ormond Hightower around for very long anyway. We don't got time for all that, right?
Well, also the show has veered away from any possibility of someone without dragon blood.
They've taken that off the table.
Riding a dragon, so we have to assume
No, I didn't mean that he was
real
actually his father. I just meant that like Ormond is trying to assert like fatherly and like a combination of fatherly and like
Because he talks
kingly
bad about
dominance over
Viserys.
Darren.
He's like, obviously you're a high tower boy,
But part of your blood is poisoned.
yeah, we have to punish you for that. That's what I'm saying. Like the way, like when he like was like reaching out, to like put his hand on Darren, the way like Tessarion was like, back the fuck off. I'm like,
Yeah.
Animals know. So
Man, it is definitely in the books so easy to love Tessarion. You're like, oh, this is just navy blue dragon girl. She's so cute.
Yeah.
And then on the show, it's the exact same way. And then the people love a Prince Daeron or a King Daeron. Like
I agree.
they're
I
all
love all
just
Darrens equally.
they're all
Not
lovable
equally.
in their own
Darren
way.
the Dreamer's the best, but oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Except for the
and
young
this
dragon.
actor
Yeah,
is
the young
just,
dragon can fuck off. But
and this
that
actor is just
the exception
doing
proves the rule.
such an amazing job. It's like the subtlety acting of a young actor is rarely seen in this kind
yeah,
of a
and
performance.
he's the one. If I remember correctly, they cast to play Link in the Zelda movie they're making.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And that's actually why he's not blonde. He demanded that he
Oh,
have
What?
interesting.
non-blonde
Good for
hair
him.
so that he didn't get
What?
typecast.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Um,
he didn't want to change
well,
it
I
No,
was
I
to
like,
totally
T-Rex
made
or
that up.
something.
But
did they dye his hair, or are they trying to say he
No,
has
I
red
think
hair?
he's a natural redhead, Darren.
I
Which is part of how Allison last week was
But
like,
but Book
"That's
Darren is
not my
not.
son." I would have remembered
No,
if I
Book
had 4
Darren,
blonde ones, and I did
not.
not. When Rhaenyra's talking to Orwyle, and he doesn't have any of the letters, and she's like, "So how close are the Faith and the High Towers?" And I'm like, "Well, you should know this," but Orwell's like, "Well, their names on the building." So
Yeah,
They donated a large amount of money. Uh, yes.
that is pretty funny.
He should have been. He should have been like, "Well, I don't know how close are you and your uncle."
Oof, oh boy. All right. Let's see. So Aegon and Larry's are back at Rook's Rest collecting intel because they're just like so sly and so smooth and nothing could go wrong. But then Aegon doesn't get a portion and he says "fuck that" and like goes full Karen to see the manager. And like for a moment, I was like, "Oh, this is his come up now. He's gonna take this guy down. Like he must be feeling a lot better. Maybe we see him actually being, I don't know." Useful
Same.
of some kind. And then immediately he's like, "Oh yeah, actually, I way overstepped there. Fuck me." Like, I was like, "Is his dragon coming to save him? Like, what is happening here?" And then just nothing happened, which was kind of weird. And then we already talked about the scene where Damon, brings the head to the council, which is stupid.
No
Um,
matter how you've been raised and how entitled you are, who has so little survival instinct in a situation like that that they don't listen to the person who's actually I don't know, ingratiated himself among poor people in the past and knows the terrain? He just ignored every fucking thing Larry is saying about shut up, shut up, shut up.
I know, and he is a prince. He's ruled to that. But I like he's what did he say? Did he say like "I'll have your tongue" or something? So he's raised to be in that vein.
Why even
And then
try to
he just
keep
immediately he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm writing checks I can't cash."
that's so That's
yeah.
what I'm saying is why I don't know. It's how do you lack the self-awareness to know that you're on razor thin ice
Step one:
and
be a
in a
prince.
really it's just so bizarre. It's infuriating.
But I think this might be his little mini redemption arc, right?
I
I don't
mean,
know if they're still going to be in this shit collecting era in the next episode, but if they are, I sort of wonder if the guy with the stammer might I don't know, become friendly with Aegon or something.
And then they plot to form a new group.
Oh,
No, just more just Aegon has to confront
he'll be
the difficulty
humbled
of these
by
people's
him.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I
Yeah.
kind of love, Tangle and Mangle is the cutest thing ever. there was that one meme a couple weeks ago, and it was like Laris and Aegon are in their own sitcom, and I'm like, yeah, Tangle and Mangle, that's a sitcom right there.
That's the new not Night of the Seven Kingdoms series that we need. If you like Dunk and Egg, we've got a new one for you.
Well, in fairness, the one time Aegon, like, we saw
we
him
can't
holding
do that.
court, he was
Okay.
like, "Have we tried communism?"
I have one more question.
Rhaenyra was like, "Have we
So they're
tried?"
collecting dung for the farmers and piss for the launderers, right? How are they separating those?
What do you mean?
You guys are cracking me up.
How are they separate? They made it very clear that
Two
you can't
buckets,
combine
you don't
them.
get paid if they mix.
Is everyone just going
What
separately?
they're collecting
That,
from a
like,
piss.
latrine usually a one-stop shop. So.
Listen, I'm not at work right now. I don't want to think
I
too
don't
hard
want to think
about
about
poop.
it either, but it did occur to me. I'm like, are there sieves involved? Like,
For 12 hours,
Yeah.
3 times a week, I have to think a lot
All
about
right.
poop.
So another big drop of the episode, we learned that Helena totally pregnant, which is just another stupid problem, kind of in the same vein of the ones that they currently have, with claimants to the throne. So it's going to be unfortunate. Hugh arrives at Tumbleton. Like when they said like go keep watch, weren't they going to like fly over the city? He's just like standing outside with his dragon, and then we see all the City Watch going around roughing everyone up, making them clean up the graffiti, and just like being pretty bad. And I don't know if they're kind of being more dicks because they haven't been paid and they're angry or what's going on. But also Damon did kind of train them to be pretty brutal, right?
yeah, it was very reminiscent of the scene in the pilot, I think, right? Where Damon leads like
It was early,
yeah.
where he's the leader of the
Yeah,
City
that's
Watch.
episode
Yeah,
1.
no more broken windows and flea bottom, etc.
The Gelder
right.
demand.
That's right.
I
I don't know.
think
She didn't give clear enough instructions. She was just like, make sure it stops no matter what. And they're like, cool, full lock and load mode.
I'm not all the way there yet, and I know they're not being true to the books, but Helena being pregnant a fourth time is 100% not in the books, right? I'm not crazy.
No, this is the third time. The second time. Only the second time. Maelor
Maybe-
doesn't exist.
Yeah, she was missing a kid before.
That's
was what
stupid.
So
Yeah.
I
maybe
think
that's
this is how
this.
they're going to create. I mean, I didn't even think
Yeah.
about this until I was just thinking about it now. Is that if she's pregnant, that is a huge issue because that means that that's an heir that needs to be accounted for.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're gonna probably burninate her. I assume if Rhaenyra finds out,
Just
or
push
at
her off
least
the cliff.
something bad will happen to her, and at that point, I think that'll. I mean, that's when everything fucking
Yeah.
pops
So
off.
I think the ironic implication is that she's just a girl, so like we can let her live, right? And which is ironic for Rhaenyra because that sort of runs up against her being like, well, I can be a claimant, right? But once she has a child, potentially, I guess any child would be in the line in that way. But like if it's a boy, right?
So are you thinking they did that on purpose by not having Mail? Is that why they didn't have Maelor? Or?
No, I think they cut Mela just because they're like, we can cut the kid. But like that wasn't really the part of that scene that sucked. It was like I don't know, the whole deal there was just kind of off. Like, so now maybe they're like people complain. They're like, we'll bring the kid back as a pregnancy.
By people, they mean George R.R. Martin complained. That was specifically the thing he complained about.
Yeah, that was the thing that set
Yeah.
him off. And like, I was like, you're mad about
tear
that
apart
scene.
the 2-year-old.
You're mad about that scene, but like that part's not the part that really is the important part. The part is like how sadistic they are.
It doesn't fix like how off from the books it is because the whole thing is like she goes bonkers and they never she basically never sees Aegon again after.
She never comes back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
her
in the
base.
scene, it's like she's like, "Well, kill the younger kid," because it's like, well, hopefully the younger kid, won't remember it or something. Like I don't know. And then he's like, "Ha! I'm gonna kill this one," instead. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, they really have her whole character all fucked up. I guess I shouldn't complain at this point. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I
she's
love
very
her.
different,
I
and
just yeah.
it's not
She's
bad.
different.
Like Allison's the one they really kind of fucked up, but
No, it's not bad. It's just not right. You know what I mean? I'm
No,
not saying
it's
it's bad.
different, but she's
And
not
the
much of a
actress is
character
doing
in the.
great
I think
work with it.
even George, when he still liked the show, was like, "This is a better version of like this character, just for her to have
yeah.
dreams and be, you know."
Yeah, because before, basically, the most we got about her in the book was she liked to ride her dragon a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
and then the scene, obviously, with Blood and Cheese.
To me, she's very like not far enough off from the book to complain either. Like we get such bare bones
Yeah, I
explanation of
agree.
her in the book that like this could really have been what she was like, and no one really knew how to describe it.
We basically just
yeah.
get additions for her. We don't really get changes.
Well, no,
So
I mean
other
like
than
her as a person. I mean her story arc is all fucked up. That's all I meant. Like the actual beats of her are
yeah,
not
yeah. I mean,
good,
it's all
and
I
very
don't know.
different.
I
that's
mean,
what I
With
meant.
I
A-
feel
with
like
As far as
Allison,
her personality, who
yeah.
knows?
I mean, I think the fact that they added in dreams kind of always gives you the out of like there's always the dream that sends her over the edge, right? Like we we've seen Maester Aemon talk about dragon dreams killing all of his brothers, and now it's his turn. I think
she sees too much.
yeah, I think it's fine for dreams to kill her. Like that's not out
That's
of
when, in fact, what happens. I think making her pregnant is actually a better wrinkle in the show than I was expecting, because it at least like it's grounded in some kind of reality of like, oh yeah, like we cannot have any sort of rival claimant. This has to be accounted for. Versus the story, like the source material of like having the toddler torn apart and then her jumping out the window. Like I actually think I prefer this. Like assuming it's going anywhere. Like we don't know where
Yeah,
where it's going to end up, but I can understand. Like cutting Maelor just always made a lot of sense. In any case, it's like you get rid of what's kind of superfluous to the story, and you don't have to cast another toddler. Um, Having a pregnancy like this is just way more manageable from a
Is there
casting
even
standpoint.
is there even enough time though for her to have like a full term pregnancy and then a baby get all fucked up?
I mean, it's only been a few days
So
since Rook's Rest, so
I'm wondering if like Allison's abortion that we saw last season was maybe like some foreshadow. Like if she's going to try and get Moon Tea for Helena, and that's not going to go well.
oh, because see, I thought we were talking about the dragon dreams and stuff, and I thought the other cool thing would be if maybe she saw that the baby that she has like is allowed to live, for whatever reason, and then it creates like a bigger civil war, years down the line or something, and then now we don't get the dragons and we need them later or something. That's the sort of thing. I don't know. They give us those like Damon dreams, like
Yeah, I'm just saying in terms of like Allison doesn't really have anything to do, so
it would
Mission
give her
Moon
a
Tea,
task. Go
yeah, is
shopping.
yeah.
Stuff like this, I wish Bina was around because she's kind of unsullied for Fire and Blood, and I would like to hear. So Bina in the comments, jump in.
Join the Discord for.
What about our final scene? So we get to see Tessarion and Darren, and they're being very sweet. Like we've hardly seen any of the writers give any affection to their dragons, and then like except outside of like Aegon and Sunfire, and then now we get this, and he's immediately like chastised for it, and then he brings back the dude who he punished his soldier, but this guy hit his soldier, so we bring him back to have Darren kill him, which it seems like apparently Darren didn't really get much, training during the stabbing portion of swordsmanship. Because he does it real fucking weird. Um and then just like all this weird like Ormond After Dark shit. It's like, oh, I'm behind closed doors after dark, and like I'm a real creeper now.
It's very strange, to say the least. I don't understand. I just don't understand anything that's going on
Yeah,
with.
and all of that is to deliver the whole point of he says you need to be king, and I think that basically Ormond's like, well, I'll be king if you're king. We talked about, but like, and then he says, now we begin. It's like it's really building this up. Like, how much time are we actually going to be involved in this? Is this going to
Yeah,
drag
I mean, isn't
on?
he
Like,
about to die in the next or two?
I mean, I guess it could be like episode 7 or 8 or something. Then they push it that way. Like, I don't really know. You know.
Yeah, it is very strange to think about, like, what's going to extend into the next season. Tumbleton gets fucked
Yeah,
over, I think, 2 or 3 times. Um,
Yeah.
they might, I mean, I assume that, like, end of season, we get the betrayal of the dragon seeds, and then they just, like, hang out all next season until everything goes down.
but just at the pace
But
they're
I kind
going, though,
of
don't you think they have to wrap Bitterbridge up a little bit more than that in this season?
remind me which battle is
Isn't isn't
Bitterbridge?
that where
Isn't that
Maelor
Cole's
gets
arrows
That's
or
well,
no?
and that's when Ormond dies, right?
Ormond dies, I believe, in the last battle of Tumbleton? Let's look this up. Ormond,
Bitterbridge
Hightower.
is where Maelor gets torn apart, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's really
that
close
for
to King's Landing.
sure.
It's right.
I don't know why I thought Ormond was like there by then too, but yeah, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it is
Yeah,
Tumbleton.
Daron goes and
That
burns
would
it
make
after
sense,
that.
actually.
Um,
He does, yeah. And then he like makes Ulf a lord.
yeah.
So, first battle at Tumbleton, Ormond gets killed by Roddy the Ruin.
Oh, it's different. Okay. Yeah, that okay. That makes
Uh,
that does make more sense now.
Yeah, that's coming up.
You
I mean,
know,
So that's got to be
that's
like the
gonna be the
next
big one.
episode then.
glad he's still around, Roddy. But let me tell you, I'm not happy that all of these cool Riverlanders have been just merged into Oscar Tully. That's some old bullshit.
True.
Anyways,
You can see why though for a show. I mean, they did that a lot. Like they just do it a lot.
I won't be reasoned
So the
I
with,
plan
and
the
kind
I won't
plan
be
is to
placated.
send the army without the dragons to try to take Tumbleton little by little and spare the people as much as possible. But she doesn't really say what her plan is to fight Seheron because obviously they have a dragon. So you got to have at least one there to deal with that if you're not going to just burn the city.
Well, isn't that
But
the
like, is
point of
she
Hugh
really
Hamner?
trusting the dragon seeds to like hop on it when that happens, or
Rhaenyra
like?
kind of forgot about Tessarian.
Well, she did
So did
You
send
Damon.
she did send larger, like much more powerful dragons to deal with it.
That is true.
So,
I
Yeah,
just
and I don't
yeah.
think they're necessarily not up to the task or whatever. It's just like we see in this episode that like Hugh so far has been about probably what she's looking for, but he's just sort of like, hey, my family, and so far they seem to be having a good rapport, but Ulf, I don't know, like she's like, I can't trust you to not go get in a bar fight and die. Has to basically put him under house arrest. Like you're trusting him to like take care of this battle, like against the dragon. I don't know.
yeah.
to
It's sloppy.
the whole scene with Ormond Tessarian, though, I kind of like it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
batshit crazy, but I don't know. Like, there's a real like sinister edge to him in that scene that I think was not working for me in the rest of the episode of telling Darren essentially that he's sinful and like his
Yeah.
blood is a pollutant and that he like but thank goodness that they raised him in the light of the sept, like where he could be
Not like the
purified.
pyramid of the high tower.
You were
Yeah, that's the part to me. It's like somebody just called you an abomination and you're gonna just go along with him asking you to kill some dude that you know is wrong?
Yeah, that's
Where do you
his
exercise your
sire.
power?
Well, it's not really a
What's he gonna
great
do? Kill
moment to use
you?
your dragon in a confined space. But yeah.
I was wondering about that.
To act on his request to kill the
He
guy. I
also
mean,
didn't
what's
tell the
Ormond
dragon to
gonna
do that, did
do?
he?
Oh,
I didn't hear him say
no,
Dracarys.
he was just hungry. I think that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
He
mean,
knows his place.
I like the scene. I like this idea. I don't like. I don't. It kind of goes back to the like Rhaena and Damon thing that Katie was talking about. Like, there was a lot of groundwork that could have been laid on this front over 3 seasons. There was a lot of interaction between Otto and Ormond that could have been brought up a little more, and with the faith and with the maesters and all the like Old Town represents the non-magical religion and world could have been played
Yes,
up a
but
lot
Kevin,
more
if
a
they
lot
had taken
sooner.
time to do that, we wouldn't have gotten all the weird shit with Damon and Alice Rivers and Harrenhal, and we can't live without that.
I mean, I fucking love that shit. But I don't know. I liked Damon's Jared Leto journey. But I do feel I do feel I don't know if anyone remembers. I'm forever amazed by Jared Leto being in the desert when COVID happened. And he like, came back from his ayahuasca journey, like thinking somehow he had caused all of this. Um, that's the
Oh
reference.
boy.
Maybe he did.
I'm sorry, what?
Jared Leto was like in the desert doing ayahuasca or whatever, and when COVID happened for like a week and a half before the world shut down, and then like a week and a half after, and then like he came back and was on Twitter and was like, "Well, things are pretty different."
And everyone's like, wait, where were you?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
There's an episode of
it's
Blackfyre at this point.
basically Damon as the war starts at Harrenhal. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see a little more of like the Old Town conspiracy. Like it seems like they're going that route, and maybe that groundwork should have been laid a little better in earlier seasons. But I'm glad it's happening.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of like, I think a lot of this is happening very fast, and although I do think I just want to give props again because I was very concerned that we wouldn't care at all about Darren, and I think they did a really good job of like literally introducing us to this no one and having us care about him. But I am also like, Ormond being Ormond, he thinks Aegon's dead. He can't find Aemond. I mean, is he not gonna like proclaim like I feel like he would be like, this is my moment, like
Yeah. You're right, like it being a little fast. Honestly, my big beef with this show from the jump has been its pacing issues. And I do feel sometimes like I've just gotten Stockholm syndrome with it, where I've learned to accept it by and large. But this is very jarring with him and this whole story thread.
Yeah. And Prince Daeron level claims, like if you think about England, like Prince Daeron level claims were still ascending to the throne 130 years after William the Conqueror. Like it's not things are not that set in stone that he's like violating centuries of
Right.
inheritance law.
I will say, like what you were saying, Michal, about them, making us like Darren, it made me think like a different world where like, him and Jace and all the cousin, uncle, nephews, whatever the fuck they all are to each other. They all have dragons kind of about the same size, even like Sunfire and like them just hanging out, like flying around, having a good time, like with all this animosity between them of like, the succession or kind of the rivalry between the two families.
Daeron and Jace are just cleanly uncle and nephew. One relation. Wild.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to get into like them being second cousins because of Balon and Alyssa and all that.
Well, yeah,
But
because they would be cousins because of Darren and because of Damon and Viserys, right?
To your point, Mahal, like why doesn't he just proclaim Darren? Maybe the logical explanation would be because Seheron is small, and he at this point does know that Rhaenyra has a minimum of 3 dragons in King's Landing, so that would be probably unwise until he can think through a plan more. Which he does say, like, we'll just have to modify our plans. So maybe he's formulating.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So
But
even
I also
with
think we're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense, like on its face.
well, not to.
I don't know.
Well, I think Michal was agreeing with you, right? Like Michal was saying, like that's what we would expect a powerful noble to do in that spot. He's got what he thinks is the best claimant or close to it. He's going to press that.
And I mean, he's been planning this for a very long time, right? Like, I'm pretty sure the day that baby Darren showed up at the High Tower, he was like, "You're the next king. You just don't know it yet," you know?
Well, he wasn't the Lord yet. I think they even made a point to say like he recently became the Lord in like the last.
Yeah, but his father was I mean, he was going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
he certainly
I
seems
could
to have
see him
access
being
to
that,
power. So
like that
And
scheming of manufacturing that somehow, regardless.
there's also like a telling line when Orwell says that, Ormond never wrote back to Otto.
yeah,
Like,
yep.
and yeah, I mean, again, I think it would have been better if we had seen this guy like last season, and maybe we would have if it had been 10 episodes. But like, and honestly, I really don't know where this goes right now because like it doesn't, it's irrelevant to what actually happens to Darren, whether or not Ormond Hightower ever told him like, "You're the king now," because his story played out the same way as far as we can see.
Right.
So I don't know if that's gonna like matter or if it's just gonna be one of these things that we're just like, oh, that they didn't know about this in the histories, but we do. Or if they'll start being like, hey, there's another king. But
Yeah, it is odd to disentangle what is filler and what isn't at this point because the timelines are all kind of blurred.
Yeah, and I do think it would have been better to get some scenes with him last season, but there's a number of people like Darren that they like, just clearly wanted to delay casting. It probably saves them money, and you don't have to worry about if you're only going to get an actor for a scene or two, you maybe can't get the kind of actor you want for the next season or something. Like I don't know.
Well, and so from a history standpoint, the only one of the history writers who would potentially write something negative about Old Town, such as, them raising another claimant or planning to, is Mushroom. Like everyone else is a Septon or a
Right.
Maester writing about it. So like they're not gonna say that about
You don't think
the
they would be
princes.
honest?
And they even say like Aegon the Second was going to raise statues of his brothers in the dragon pits. Like they wanted those Old Town princes to at least be loyal to each other and good to each other.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the plan where he's basically like, look, if Vagar arrives, we got this. I mean, it's still only 2 dragons, and I guess they're hoping using the town as human shields. Well, I don't know. I don't know what exactly is his plan. Like, how does he think he's going to win?
I think Vagar still changes the whole thing. Like until Daemon shows up with Caraxes and the other dragon seeds, you got to think that he feels pretty good having Vagar. Like people aren't gonna want to. Your best hope is that you take Vagar down with you. So unless you have
Right.
some
You're
people.
gonna lose someone probably.
Yeah, so unless you have a group of dragon riders pretty much willing to all go down with Vagar, you think you're probably gonna win. You're at least kind of creating mutually assured destruction. Saying a lot
But
worse to say
if
that.
Vagar is there, they're not gonna move until all of their dragons are in place, right?
I
I mean, at
suppose.
some point you would expect, Rhaenyra might even get involved. Like if the war goes a different way, they start losing dragons, and obviously everything happens at the dragon pit. But you could argue that she should have been out there riding at some point.
Yeah.
All right, do you guys have anything else you want to say? Anything about anything in the episode?
It's weird that Rhaenyra doesn't ride Cyrax more. Sorry, that's the only thing that I was going to say.
It's sad, yeah. Even just for fun, right? Because like she's the queen.
Yeah.
I was glad we got that in her early story.
Yeah, because she's riding all the time. And I mean, before things pop off, I mean, they showed most of the kids seem to, ride pretty regularly. So it's just Viserys, no dragon.
I know.
One thing that we didn't talk about that kind of drove me crazy is Corlys dismissing himself as hand
Yeah.
and being like, I'm just going to
That-
assign my son to be the hand now and I'm going to peace out. I was like, you have to ask permission first. You can't just leave.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you're not Tywin commanding his grandson here.
Well, I don't know, because Tywin just left, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was in
When,
charge of all the people.
First time,
He was in charge of
he was the hand,
being-
yeah.
Yeah, he could do
Yeah.
that.
I'm just saying he sort of quit and just left, but I don't know. As a lord like that, you kind of, I guess you can kind of come and go. If you have enough men, right? No one's gonna stop you.
Well, if all Rhaenyra would have to say is like, you're not allowed to leave, and I mean, he would be in breach of his office if he did that. But now he's just like, I'm out. Like, okay,
it's better
dude.
to ask forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, don't tell your boss that you're taking a vacation week.
If you don't ask, she didn't say no. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I don't.
So.
I honestly don't know what that decision is going to lead to, if anything, because I don't know. Maybe the actor has like scheduling conflicts. And having Alan maybe be the one to set Adam like if eventually like Rhaenyra freaks out and is like, jail Adam because the other two have betrayed me, maybe it'll be Alan who sets him free then instead of Corlys, because Corlys is doing fuck all on the coast.
But then Corlys still has to get in trouble. I don't know. But yeah, that I could see that, because like, what else are they going to do with Alan right now? They want to give him something to do, especially if they're going to have him more prominent. Maybe next season.
I will say, Alan's pretty boring, but like I do find him like he seemed very like stolid to me. I was like, this is actually the type of person you probably do want on like the small council. He's very measured. He does not react strongly. Like, I was like, this actually is probably a good role for him.
Yeah, because he'd just be filling in as like Maester of Ships, right? I mean,
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm saying like he'd even be a good hand, I think, personally.
I think potentially. I mean, he seems to really think like, I don't know anything about courts or whatever, but I mean, he's served on ships for how long? I mean, he knows about chain of command. Like, yeah. I don't know. That's
Sorry.
just what I was
One
saying
more
earlier.
thing.
Is Rhaenyra doesn't have enough people around her that know like how the kingdom functions.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Although props to Torrin Manderly, who seems to be having the time of his life.
Maester of Coin.
Well,
But also, can we just talk about the look on Masaria's face when she was clearly listening to Daemon and Rhaenyra have their little conversation in front of the severed head? And like, I have never seen, like, if you looked up like butter won't melt in your mouth, like that is the picture. Like, Yeah.
Daemon has a weird line, or rather an interesting line, when he's walking past Massaria after that scene where he's like, after, like, to paraphrase it, he's like, after this giving alms to the poor, I guess, falls apart, she'll snap out of it. It's almost like he's still hanging on to this delusion. He's like, once Rhaenyra, like, gets over her philanthropist era, she's gonna be really on board for conquering the world.
Yeah.
You just wait and see.
Yeah.
I'll be in my man cave.
Yeah, once she turns 30, she'll become a conservative. Otherwise, she's an idiot.
But I think on this he's kind of right. Like when he sees like this is a band-aid, like you need like strong rule right now before you need to like feed the people. Unfortunately, they'll figure it out. But like you don't have enough resources.
And I mean the Queen of Bastards thing really upset her, and
Yeah.
I think that I don't think it will take. I don't think Rhaenyra is like evil or anything like that, but I don't think it'll take that much to maybe sever some of her like softer feelings for the people of King's Landing.
Because they went a different way with it on the show. They didn't do the whole like Realm's Delight thing where she could be sitting there like, oh my gosh, they used to love me. Like it sort of felt like she's always kind of not felt loved by the small folk and is like desperately crave that.
I mean, yeah, that is sort of what she saw in the little pantomime play that Daemon took her to when he intended to fuck his teenage niece.
Gosh.
Like a hero.
It's not called a crime hoodie for nothing.
Which step of the hero's journey is that again?
It's meeting the goddess, actually.
So according to the house the dragons built, the rabbit in the first scene, for one thing, it was a real bunny rabbit, but it's just supposed to be a tone setter of like, look at the peaceful nature, and then we're gonna cut to war. So no symbolic significance.
It was
just
less war and more like a bunch of people moving into overcrowded Airbnbs, but okay.
No, but I assumed it was just a tone setter like that, but like I don't think this show has ever just shown like natural animals like that. So like we got a bunny, we got two dogs, like
it is
I love the
odd.
dragons, but it's very I don't want to
But where
say
are
it
the
pulls me out of
kittens?
the show. Well, they were introduced by Alan of Hull. But it is very weird to see like actual animals in these shows.
Yeah,
I think it's
We
because
see rats all the time.
We've gotten so used to like CGI animals because they're more convenient than having to like get in touch with animal handling, like actual animal actors on set, and it is refreshing to like actually see real dogs and shit. Like it's a nice detail, and in a real bunny rabbit.
Well, I mean, what did I say about the bunny? It felt magical just seeing a bunny open the episode.
Well, one thing, you're not going to convince me that bunny isn't Pepe from Star Fox. Same actor.
What's crazy is the bunny is real, but everything around it is CGI. It's like it's a bunny on a leash, and they've CGI'd out the leash, and then the backdrop is a blue screen. So the rabbit is completely real in a completely
but
digital.
ends up looking kind of fake.
And it's outside of like Tenochtitlan or something. Some Adobe City. The other thing, I just wanted to go back and say, we have seen a plethora of affection with dragons. We've seen Daemon nuzzle Caraxes a few times. We saw little Aegon with his Stormcloud. Big Aegon with...
Did we see Stormcloud?
Yeah, he's like a little, like before he gets sent off the Pentos. He
just flew around a little bit.
He's a little cat size. little baby.
Mm.
And Aegon's tossing him things. We see Jason, Luke with Veermax and Arax, like when they're younger, learning to bond. So there's some tender love for dragons along the way in this show.
I don't know. I'm
And
just saying
here
they don't
for
show
it.
it a ton, and
No,
like
yeah.
they leaned into it the most with Aegon because I guess they were like we have to make him seem cool. He likes the animals,
Yeah.
but then like I guess all of them do because Helena's like don't hurt the animals, and Darren's like I don't know. They all just love the animals.
Mm-hmm. We also see Caraxes drink the water, and I mean, at this point, I'd die for Caraxes after that scene.
He's best boy.
Just drink his water.
He was so long today. Did you see
Yeah.
him like stretch all the way out when he's running away from Damon? Like, oh boy.
His little
Yeah.
dolphin noises.
Yeah. The fact that he fully has that car alarm in him. They're like, wee, woo, wee, woo. He can make every one of those noises.
All right.
Watching the sorry, just as a finisher, I will bump my rating up to a 3. I was a little salty finishing the episode. I think I have a better appreciation having discussed it, and also anytime I watch these documentaries of how they built the episode, I feel like it automatically raises my esteem for the show just because there is so much craft.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 3 instead of a 2.
I mean, did you see what they did for the ship battle? Like the gimbals and like the ships on the wenches, and I was like, good lord, it was pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
See, as a rule of thumb, well, again, I didn't watch Game of Thrones past the first season, so I never really got into those after shows. But like as a rule of thumb, I never, even with Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I never watched any after shows. But like especially like with everything we're talking now, I'm just like I don't know how these after shows are, so they might be different. But like I'm just waiting for Ryan Condal to be like, I forgot about Rhaenyra's other children.
Usually they're pretty good. Usually, I mean, so Game of Thrones had somewhat. A lot of people stopped watching the after show stuff. I know, like back in GOT era, and like because they had some like, oh, Danny forgot about this, or like, well, George told us that, or like they do some stupid shit, especially towards the end. But like Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like they just were like, yeah, we thought the fart was cool. Like, that's, like, but mostly it shows us a little bit of insight, from the actors, and you can, like I said, you can see how they're building it, and I do like the documentary series they have with every episode. Like, I always liked watching the special features and stuff on the DVDs, but I do think sometimes like the actors or the directors give us some information that I'm like, oh, I was supposed to infer that. I was supposed to see that motivation. Like it didn't come out on the screen. But then it comes out in the little interview.
In
Yeah,
retrospect,
it feel
go ahead.
Oh, no, you're totally right about like it can sometimes at its best it shows like just how much love and attention to detail there is being put into the show. At its worst, it can feel like footnotes where it's like we know this wasn't clear, but we're going to pretend that it was clear by explaining it to you
Right.
now.
And then it feels like unnecessary homework.
Yeah.
Especially because now HBO used to default to just it would keep playing the episode until you walked away. It would play through all the next episode preview, all that. Now at least the app, it defaults to like starting you playing something else before the next episode preview even starts. You don't even see that unless you like go up on your own and like click it. So it's
This is how I
interesting.
started watching Dune Prophecy because it just
It just
started
started.
Yeah, it
playing.
just starts playing Night of the Seven Kingdoms for me.
And then that shit's in your continue watching forever. You're like, please stop.
I do think it would be great if just the kid that played Egg played one of the Targaryens in this, and they never explained it.
They need to do that with
put a
any
wig on him.
Targaryen actor.
Yeah, honestly, if Harry Lloyd
Uh,
had come back, he's probably too old to be a good Eggman
I
now.
would
If he
love
had been
Harry
Prince
Lloyd to
Damon,
just randomly.
Just fuck up the continuity permanently.
All right, guys. I don't know. We'll be back next week. I think I'm going to be out of town for the next couple weeks, but the next two episodes, I think Comic Con is going to be happening during the sixth episode. So I don't know if we'll get anything from there, but I look forward to seeing what you guys think. Thanks.
Night.
night.
Bye, everyone.
Night, everybody. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Yeah. When they can't hide behind, well, it's a history, so here's 3 accounts of what might have happened. Like,
Right.
I think that's the problem, though. I think my guess is that George, in adaptation, like he accepted most of that, right? And he understands they had to make changes in Game of Thrones, and eventually that got to be too much. But and this is like they've said repeatedly that like, oh, this is like the real telling, guys. Like the book gives you these unreliable accounts, and what we're telling you is the real history, right? And then they've made changes that couldn't possibly fit with certain things that are in the book. So then actually, no, it is an adaptation. But like they're trying to push it out like, oh, this is the actual story of the Dance of the Dragons, like, not just what the Maesters wrote down.
See, I think that would only upset me is if we're already recording, right? Because this is a good one. That would only upset me if they end up making Daron succeed Rhaenyra, because I don't think they're going to put Aegon the Younger on the throne.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh, good Lord. I didn't even think of that.
older.
Which completely changes absolutely everything. In
Yeah,
the show
that
universe
wouldn't make
forward.
sense.
Nah,
Like
I don't
the
think they're gonna do
lineage.
it.
I hope not. I just, during that last scene, I was like, oh
I mean, I
no.
guess in Game of Thrones, technically, no one ever said like, "Oh, yeah, the Targaryens are, Rhaenyra's bloodline," like explicitly. So they could just be like, "You don't know who wins."
Well, they did say that Sunfire. All right, should we start the
Oh my god,
podcast?
Sunfire. I can't. Oh my god, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get to that. We got to get to
Yeah.
that because, yeah, give me a second. Hold on. I just
Okay.
finished after the episode thing. I gotta boot my computer up real quick.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
I will be right back. Just gonna get something.
Yeah, I just have so many questions. I feel like from this episode. Hey, do we know what this episode was called?
Tumbleton,
Let's see.
according to HBO.
Oh, so if they put that if they put that title out beforehand, it would feel like they were just teasing us because nothing really happened at Tumbleton.
Well, something happened.
Yeah,
Couple
but if you have
things.
an episode called Tumbleton, like I'm kind of thinking like it's all going down.
Well, again, go back to what Michal was saying about like normal people, not us, watching it. They'd be like, Tumbleton. Oh yeah, they mentioned that place.
Yeah, and they don't release the episode titles before the episodes anyway. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Usually, I don't even know what the episode title is until I'm writing a script or listening to you say it.